Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome to Subscriber Feedback. I'm Jay, and this is an anonymous submission looking for, and I quote, nothing in particular, except for maybe how to not hate the sound of my own voice. I feel like I'm so monotone. Listen, my friend, we've all been there, myself included, if not in particular. So we'll talk about that and anything else we've got time for. If you would like to send in a sample of your own, we do this every Thursday and it's free. There's a form in the description. You can send me something. If you don't want to wait the 1 to 2 months it typically takes to get to new submissions, you got a couple options. You can join the Booth Buddies here. It comes with a couple perks. You can also hop over to my website for coaching one-on-one, or if you're into audiobooks, I've got the Audiobook Academy, my interactive course. Very stoked on down below. All right, a couple things before we dive in here. One, my friend, your audio was a bit loud and there were a couple spots where you were clipping. I would recommend looking at a few videos here on how to clean that stuff up a little bit. Not a huge thing, but just a small deal that you might want to look into when submitting audiobook auditions and things like that. I've adjusted it for the sake of this video to make it easier on me in editing everything. Next, for those who would need to know, this is a darker-ish scene, romance scene, so be forewarned there. Let's dive in. I may stop and start to talk about some things as we go.
I startle awake to iron fingers wrapped around my upper arm and Mikhail's penetrating blue gaze boring into mine. For a moment, I'm sure I'm still dreaming, because I've never once seen Mikhail wear this expression before. Dead. That's the only way I can properly describe the gaze that drowns me, suffocates me. He's not the man who softly kissed me on his balcony a few hours ago, tracing reverent kisses down my neck and lifting me into his arms like I was something precious. No, this is a different man, and he's terrifying.
Pausing right quick. Very intense scene. And I want to pause because you're doing a couple things that are really great. Firstly, your pacing is awesome. Your pacing, whether it was somewhat dictated by the text, meaning if the author wrote this scene in a way that paced stuff like this, some authors will do that naturally. Great job listening to that. If this is an interpretation of yours, even better. You also have a great deal of emotional moments that you're tilting towards, which is really great to hear. Things that I like about the pacing, it's not too fast. You're giving great time with the negative space, the pauses and the breaths for my imagination to fill in the gaps, either with images or with the character trying to piece things together. Like, hey, this guy we just had this wonderful moment and now this is a really oppressive experience. And then going into the reminiscing moment here, that pause right in between allows my imagination to join her on that journey, which is great.
Before I can even find my bearings, I'm being yanked from the warmth of the bed into the chilled open air. My feet tangled desperately in the sheets, trailing a corner of the blanket along with me. Mikhail, what's going on? Panic bleeds into my words as he drags me out of the room.
Okay. So on to the monotone question. In terms of your self-diagnosis, I feel like I'm so monotone. I agree. I think that your performance is perhaps a bit flatter or more level than it could be. And there's a lot of ways that we can talk about to improve that. In terms of that equating to hating the sound of your own voice, that's something that everybody experiences with getting into audiobooks or narration. You got your voice piped into your ears for the first time ever. It's an incredibly self-conscious experience in more ways than one. One, you're just hyper aware of everything. Your voice is being directly shoved into your ears in a way that you're not used to. And that's just a new thing to get accustomed to. And that does go away. The other thing with respect to liking the sound of your own voice, your voice is your voice, and getting about it doesn't help anybody. So I would advise, for whatever it's worth, let that go. You've got a great voice and take that to the bank. Now, in terms of monotone performance or fairly level performance, I was the same. When I entered into grad school, my teachers were adamant in helping me to, or rather, forcing me to explore my range a little bit more and to bloom a bit more into myself. So I'll talk a bit about my experience and then some of the things that I did or was coached to do in order to help that. Going in, I felt, and sometimes still do feel to often my own detriment, that really expressive, really emotional performances are unnecessary and full of like self-aggrandizement. We're going to get it. We don't need you to really lay it on thick. And I got really frustrated when people would do that kind of thing. And so I revolted by keeping everything really tight and controlled. Well, joke's on me, because then I became, this was my whole performance and my whole thing. And that's just not exciting for anybody. And so the ways that my teachers explained it to me was, you're existing in a range like this, Jay, and your potential range, we don't know where that is, but I suspect that it's greater than this. And so a couple of the exercises that I was given to help pull me out of that range, one was, they all kind of exist in the same way. So I've got Moby Dick open here. And one of the things that we used was to start at the highest point in your range that you feel comfortable with without tipping into a Mickey Mouse voice or a falsetto, and going to the lowest range. Doing so by reading or performing text and not really paying attention to punctuation or things like that, just going from top to bottom of your range. Now, usually when people start, well, let me demonstrate first. Call me Ishmael some years ago, never mind how long precisely, having little or no money in my purse. I had nothing in particular to interest me on shore. I thought I would sail about a little and see water. And now my voice starts to give out because I'm forcing it lower and lower. Now, what a lot of people do when they start this, when I ask them to do this, I'll say, okay, start at the top of your range and go to the lowest part. And it'll sound like this. Okay, yeah, sure. Call me Ishmael some years ago, never mind how long precisely, having little or no money in my purse and nothing in particular to... That has like no shift at all. So it's helpful to record yourself and judge objectively. There's nothing wrong with being monotone sometimes. But you can also judge, that doesn't sound very different from my speaking normally. Push yourself to go, call me Ishmael some years ago, and you'll sound silly, you'll sound dumb. I felt and sounded silly and dumb when I was doing this. And that's probably good, because then when you listen back, it'll be like, oh, that actually sounds kind of normal. And then you can recalibrate. This doesn't sound weird on recordings. It sounds quite natural. And now I have a new range that I can explore a bit more. So that's one. Start high, go low, or start low and go high. It doesn't really matter what you choose, but it's helpful. The other is to popcorn around. This one will make you feel like you're having a manic episode of some kind, but I find it really helpful for busting myself out of rhythms of speech, patterns of speech, habits of speech, intonation, and as well as exploring my range. The popcorn one is simply to popcorn around. Call me Ishmael some years ago, never mind how long precisely, having little or no money in my purse and nothing in particular to interest me on shore. I thought I would sail about a little and see the watery part of the world. Funnily enough, the intonation, although ridiculous, it tends to follow, at least in my experience, a bit of sense. And you're like, oh, actually, that sounds kind of meh. I've done characters for books that have that sort of popcorn tendency to them, and they're really fun. So those are two ways to bust yourself out of this sort of rhythm here and get a little bit more used to what your full range, again, right now you're existing in about this. I suspect you've got quite a bit more to you there. So That's a great way to help yourself expand your range in that respect. The other thing that might be helpful, both with respect to the monotone nature of things, the flatness of things, you've got a great instinct for the emotion of certain moments, and we can hear that, but it's very, very constrained and tight.
Tracing reverent kisses down my neck and lifting me into his arms like I was something precious.
Like the way that something precious ends, we feel that longing, but it's just sort of a whisper in the background almost at this moment. And we can take that further. So this is something I still struggle with, but just allowing the emotional aspects of things to bubble up to the top, that sort of vulnerability and willingness to express those things is a great boon for any performer. And you can I would say the essence of both the emotional tone and your pitch variety, go further than you think is sane. Go to the point where it feels ridiculous, silly, and you're like, this is never going to register as a human being speaking. And then listen back and judge it objectively, because 9 times out of 10, people don't go as far as they can. So I think that that'll really help you to bust out of that in that way. Now, again, just to impress upon you in terms of the hating the sound of your own voice thing, we've all been there. It's a very normal experience, particularly for people at the beginning of their journey. And you've got a great voice. Don't worry about it. Just stick with it, and that'll iron itself out. A couple other things to talk about. One, your room right now sounds like it could be treated a little bit better. Your space has a fair amount of room reflections going on in it. I hear the walls around you and things like that. So I would look at adding more acoustic treatment around you. In terms of the emotional aspects of things that you can think about specifically, I startle awake and feel these things. Like books like this, they rely heavily on the sensorial experience of characters as they're living through things. It's present tense, and all of the things are happening to them in real time. So you can invest a lot in the thoughts that are going through their minds and the feelings that they're having, both emotionally and physically. I startle awake, and then I feel these hands, and think through and experience along with the character what's going on as those experiences happen. And you can let us in on that a little bit more. Bring that more to the surface. It doesn't need to be withheld or guarded or clean. Messy it up. I love it when it's messy. Hope that's helpful for you. Let me know if that answers your questions or if you got more of them. For everybody else out there, I hope it was helpful too. Until the next one of these, be well, everybody, and I'll see you there. Toodles.